And we are live. Or are we not live? We're live. Impromptu town hall here with Samantha Nephew. Hi, Samantha. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And my dear friend, Jim G.I. Sharp. Jim?
Hello,
Ooh,
everyone.
let me fix.
Hey,
What's that?
how's
Ooh.
things?
How's things? They're good. Let me fix this really quick. You can see the front of my desk here. Oh, don't fall away too far here. Sorry, guys.
All good.
Modern technology, guys. I'm sorry. There you go. Is that better or worse? Yeah, it's better.
Better.
So let's talk. Miss Nephew, how are you? How's the campaign life treating you?
Campaign life is treating me well. I am 100% yours. I was just telling Jim here that I finished up my grad course today, and it was it's a long road. It's hard to study and be in the midst of COVID, but made it, and now I'm here fully.
What did you study? What are you studying? I don't even know.
Public administration. So my course was in disaster and emergency management, which was timely considering what's going on in the world.
Public administration, how cool is that? Well, you've got a lot of experience under your belt already, and you've seen some things firsthand, so good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, congrats. I know how hard that is. I'll be honest with you, I hope I never sit in the classroom again for the rest of my life.
Oh my God, I have 2 more classes to go, and I feel the same way.
Oh, listen, it's something we have to do, and I did a lot of it, but I had enough. I'm at this point in my life. Now I got to get my kids to go to school. And Jim, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I decided to do some more outside stuff. So today I experimented by going out and trying to find a bucket of paint that matches my building. So I managed to get to a store and I got to the door and they said, call us and we'll talk to you because you're not allowed in.
I thought did you put the signs in front of my garage?
The sign?
The signs.
Yes. No.
Oh, good.
I didn't do those.
Someone put signs in front of my garage. Like, where are these signs coming from? It must. Don't worry. I'll check my surveillance camera.
I put a sign a long time ago, so it wasn't the signs you just got.
Okay, well, good. We're good. So you're painting your building.
Yes, I'm going to actually we're going to paint. I'm president of my association. So because of what's going on with the COVID, I was going to paint the entire buildings this year in spring. Well, that got torpedoed. So I kind of told all my residents, like, says, look, we're not painting until mid-September, so you can open up your buildings and put in your garden beds and put up your awnings, and then we'll paint in the fall. But not everybody's happy, but you can't get anybody hired these days to actually come out and actually paint anything because everybody's unemployed or shut in.
Why don't you make Moses do it as service? Get him over there.
There he goes. He can do the short stuff.
Honestly, I might send him over there because he's got to get some hard. Hey, Moses, you got to go to work.
He'll get up the ladder 3 stories high.
Well, good. I think it's a good idea for him. All right, listen. I'm happy to see human beings from my campaign. I miss you guys. We're gonna go over the nightly news tonight. Talk over the news. Talk about what's happening. And listen, if we can, we want to raise at least $100 off this. That's a small amount. $100 while we do this broadcast. So if you could, at least $100 from people online. So if you guys donate, say you donated in the comments. We're trying to raise $75,000 this month. We still got a long way to go. I made dozens and dozens of phone calls today. I know people are struggling, but if you got it in you, $10 right now, that doesn't hurt. It helps. So if you could, Torrin, throw the link up there. If you can't, that's okay. Michael Slater is watching. Hey, how you doing, Michael? Bonnie, how are you? How's Lima doing? How's life doing? I know you got a full house right now. Catherine up in Lewiston. You know Catherine Lee. Jim?
Oh, Catherine.
Yeah. David Grosskopf. How are you, David? Dylan How are you? I love your support, Dylan. I'm very, very grateful. You're always there for me. Bill Meyer says, Jim Sharp, holy cow, you need a haircut and a shave. Freaking hippie, LOL. You should see the photographs of Jim Sharp back from the 70s, is it, Jim?
Oh, 70s, yeah.
He looked like Matthew McConaughey.
And what happened to me? I don't know.
Sorry. Hey, Catherine. Okay, so number one, what's the big news today for Western New York?
We're reopening.
We're reopening stage 1, which is?
Let's see. It was so the ones that are opening up is construction, manufacturing, retail, curbside pickup only, wholesale trade, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and hunting.
Oh, yeah.
And so I saw the news article, or not news report. Was it GM or Ford is opening up again soon? One of them two.
Hold on, I got to cut. I'm sorry. I always do this because I look at my phone. I listen to people talking to us. But Michael Slater already gave $100 just now. Michael, we know you love. We know you're the best. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. So the goal is now $200. Thank you, Michael. And I miss you. I miss seeing you. What can I say? So the big thing is we're going to have a lot of the plants open up, right? The UAW, and I thank you for the UAW endorsement. I am proud to wear that badge of honor. I appreciate it. So we got to be concerned about the working conditions for the men and women who build our cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, Samantha or Jim, whoever?
Yeah,
jump
Samantha.
in.
I mean, personally, I'm just a little concerned about because testing is still not where it should be. So I guess I'm just most concerned about us going backwards, right? Like I'm on day 62 of in my house, and I have to believe that it wasn't for nothing. But if we start going back, that's just super frustrating. And I think people are going to see, the idea of reopening, meaning it's over. We can all go outside and have fun, right? And that's what I'm most concerned about.
Hey, Samantha, I love your wall of politics back there. How cool is that?
Is that what you were squinting at?
Yeah, I was like, what is going on back there?
This is my office. I've decorated it. You're
I love it. I see that. I don't know who those people all are, but hey, keep up the good fight, gang.
Real quick, Nate, if that's the case, those would be your colleagues. Though Sharice Davids and Deb Haaland would be your colleagues in Congress. First 2 Native American women in Congress ever.
Didn't know that. Hey, Sharice, come on. Let's be buddies when I get down there. Well, good. What was I going to say? So, yeah, we're going to open up the phased openings, Samantha and Jim, which is a good thing for the country. But we should be using this time to prepare for what? The inevitable second wave. And we're not. We're like rushing to reopen when we realize like it's like the middle of a battle and there's, the other side is out of ammo and they're getting prepared to attack again. While they're preparing, we need to prepare our defenses, right? Or is that a bad analogy? But you get what I'm saying. We have a time here to prepare and we're not doing it. That's what I'm worried about. I read that book, Pale Rider, about the Spanish flu. And we are repeating the exact same mistakes from the Spanish flu. We're going to be lucky if we get through this. And the other thing I want to say is, the president is out of his mind. And we could talk about it all day long, but it's insane what we're going through. I mean, today he said what? He said, well, wait, before we go on to that, what's the thing you miss most about real life? Before COVID? Name one thing.
Honestly, I miss going out to lunch with colleagues.
Me too.
One of the last things I remember doing was actually going with Jim here to Edie's down the street from the Hamburg office with your son.
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah, yep. And I miss doing things like that.
Yep.
Me too. I miss hanging out with you guys. I miss going to my mom's house with my family. I don't miss getting a haircut. I want to keep it growing, long Farrah Fawcett style.
I miss getting a haircut. I need one.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back. So, Jim, what do you miss?
I miss the socialization. I do miss strange enough, I miss working with my committees that I have in government, like long range planning, with that team of 18 people, because I like the dynamics of I don't like this, you like this, and keep it peace. But having something where you feel like you're accomplishing something. I mean, you know that you've done something. You can feel like something's been accomplished today. But I'm missing that part. Now I have to go.
Jim, you're such a social butterfly.
Well,
I thought for sure when this thing started, you're going to be the first one to get sick but you kept I was so worried, but you kept it so well. Thank God.
Well, I figured out how to navigate in the environment. I mean, like you're reading up on the epidemics, but you think about this epidemic and saying, and how do we not, somebody's got to survive, and you got to learn to survive in this environment. So you learn to talk, be a little more safer, and wash your hands, keep your distance.
Are you wearing a mask, Jim? I hope so.
I'm wearing a mask constantly. All day today, when I was out, I had the mask on repeatedly. If I ever got out of the truck, here it was. But I mean,
Well, with somebody like Jim, who has like 100 years in politics? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But people like us that really enjoy being in politics, I think one thing that we're good at is being adaptable to the situation, and I think that's been tremendously helpful in dealing with being home for 62 days.
Well,
I
agree.
I think you're right. But I'm a homebody. I like my kids. I like reading books. I like Netflix. I like those things. But I really like people. The reason why I got into politics is I like people. Jim, you know me. I like people. I like being around people. And this is the fact that I'm running a campaign for Congress of all things. I can't go visit people that I care about. It's driving me nuts. Like I'll be honest with you. I can't believe I've done it. There's so many times where I called Nicole or I called Jim and I said, we're going to break the rules. We're going out. We're going to meet. We're going to have a big party. And but I calm down, but I really want to see people. I want to see Cindy out there Cindy out in Warsaw. I want to see my friends out in Warsaw. I want to see the people out in Geneseo. I want to go to Canandaigua. We can't do it.
I know. That's the part I really miss. I mean, this campaign from last campaign was such a supercharge because there was so much energy in the rooms we used to visit, watching the excitement, and it electrifies you. But also to see the country. I mean, to travel the roads and go through the different towns, and that to me was just it was amazing in itself to be able to see the District 27 and see what it's made of and all that kind of stuff. Now I
love it.
That's tough.
I love these places. I love these towns. And it's the best thing about. If I lose, I always say the saddest thing for me is that I'm not going to be able to see all these people and see these towns again regularly. I love it,
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Cynthia just gave $20. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate it so much. Boy, we got who else? Someone here. Joseph just gave $100.
Oh no, the number just went to 300.
We're over $300 for the call. I cannot believe it. I should do this every time. So guys, we already beat our goal. Every dollar is now going to go over our goal. And from now on, I'm going to put a number on the screen that we're going to aim for when we do these calls.
There you go.
Oh man, Joe's $100 matches. Come on, people, another $100, and wait. Michael, this is like a telethon now. Michael Slater said if someone else pitches in, he's going to match $100. So let's see what happens. So we're raising money.
Can I get involved with this?
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, everybody. By the way, we're gonna win. I can tell you right now. Let's be honest. The special election is messy. Mm-hmm. It's messy because I'm on the phone all day long and I'm calling people and they don't even know how to vote. They don't know when the election is. They don't know how to vote. But one thing is for certain: our team is organized.
Oh yeah.
Our team is organized like crazy. Thank you to Nicole and Samantha and Jim and Hunter and Austin and Mary. You guys and Amber, everybody's on top of it. And all the people that are extended part of our team, like Cynthia Appleton and just Cricket. I think I saw Cricket was on here. Everybody that's out there making phone calls. Listen, the enthusiasm is with us. Do you guys not agree?
Oh, I definitely agree.
Out there, especially lately, I've been making field calls for you, Nate. I've been on that side of the campaign the last couple days, and the people that I talk to out there that do know who you are get very excited. I had one woman who had a car brigade, one of those car rally things, go by her house. And she was like, "This is the best time for you to call. Listen to this." And she goes, "Vote for Nate McMurray." And I guess she was like holding up her sign to
You're
the
kidding.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular. So there's some enthusiasm out there for you.
Well, I'll say this. I think people saw for 3 years I'm not perfect. Clearly, if anyone watches these broadcasts, they realize I'm not perfect. but I'm authentic, and my heart's in the right place. And even though I'm not perfect, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna do what I can to represent people with. I'm gonna be a truth teller. I'm gonna tell you like it is, and I'm gonna get things done. And that's all there is to it. Erica, how are you? I see Erica's watching. Catherine, my whole family sent a request for an absentee ballot. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. Okay, we're gonna go over the news, and we're gonna talk news. You guys ready for that?
Let's do it. What do you want to talk about, Nate?
Trump says he's taking malaria drug to protect hydroxychloroquine to protect himself against the virus. Thoughts?
Is that the truth or is that a flex?
I think it's a lie. I don't think he's taking it. I think he
Let's
he
do that
wants,
or paranoia.
Well,
Is
it's what?
Is it even something that you can easily access, or is it like a prescription thing? I honestly don't know.
It's a prescription thing.
It is.
They've tested and they've proven over and over again it's either useless or dangerous.
That's what I've heard.
So,
okay.
So but he said numerous times, what do you got to lose? Take it. Unfortunately, they tested on some veterans and people started dying from heart attacks. Am I wrong? Am I wrong on this, Jim?
You're right. It definitely can have an impact on your heart and your rhythm. To me, and if it doesn't have any proof that it's going after the epidemic, then why is the president of the United States, who is out there touting something that literally could kill people, that could literally not do anything positive, but actually have negative effects?
He lives in an alternative reality.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
He lives in an alternative reality where, listen, I saw this documentary on him a few years ago where it said he was taught by his attorney, Cohn, that you never recognize failure. So they showed clips of him getting out of court cases where he was destroyed in the court case, and Trump would be like, "This is a great victory. I'm so glad the court affirmed what we did is correct," even though he had lost the court case. And so, like with hydroxychloroquine, he was so far on a limb rather, he suddenly is like he has to double down and say it's this great thing. So it's really troubling stuff. I never thought I'd be in a country where we had a president who was so unwilling to accept reality and just live in a completely another world. So yeah, the fact that he says he's taking hydroxychloroquine is terrifying. Yes. Thoughts, if any?
Well, I mean, that's pretty terrifying that, he believes that what you say doesn't matter, or you can say it and then turn around tomorrow and say something different. It's very disturbing because people hang on the words of the president. Obviously, he's destroying the ability and the trust of the word of the presidency.
But you and I both have friends and family who love the guy.
Oh,
love him.
Yeah.
Love him. Why? Samantha nephew, I'm gonna steal that watch and look at your messages. I think you secretly love him. No, no. Tell me, why do you think some people love him?
I don't know, Nate. It boggles my mind because he stands against everything that that I believe in, that I stand for. I truly believe that the president of the United States could care less about my life and the life of my loved ones, and how that's acceptable to anybody. It honestly blows my mind. I'm pretty sure I also have family, and probably not friends, but probably some family that are Trump supporters, and it breaks my heart because
it breaks my heart too, because a lot of them I talk to, I have family, that don't, some of that even live in the area, and they'll be like, "You're too hard on him. The media's too hard on him." And I think some of it comes down to the point they do not want to admit to the fact that they were so wrong.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say to them, it's okay. When you go in the voting booth, no one knows who you're voting for. So you can even say you voted for Trump. You don't have to vote for him again.
And
It's
you
okay.
can fix the problem we're in. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think some people you guys know me, I'm not Mr. Rich. I don't drive around in a Lamborghini. I'm a regular person. I'm not like Samantha. I don't have a super expensive like Apple iWatch. I don't got those things. I'm sorry.
Really?
Sorry. I'm not Jim Sharp. I don't have the whole iHome kit in my house.
Oh,
sorry.
He's coming at us, Jim.
Man, he's picking on my technology. I mean,
Jim.
I just totally destroyed my surround sound system and reconfigured the whole thing these last 3 days. I mean, tore out the wires. My wife looked at me and said, "How do you know where's those wires go? I mean, can't you do away with those wires?" Nope. Those wires got to stay.
Jim's house is like Tony Stark's house. Like, there's so many gadgets.
I haven't done the compulsion thing yet. I mean,
but why do you think? Okay, I'm being ridiculous, but why do you think people that are more like us still vote for Trump or Chris Jacobs? For heaven's sakes, I mean, what is Chris? They say they hate career politicians and they're going to vote for Chris Jacobs. They say they hate crooks and criminals. They want to drain the swamp, but they vote for a guy who clearly is a swamp creature.
Oh my God!
Why? Listen. If footage came out of Biden doing an insider trade deal, I mean, I would be like, I'm done. Like, I wouldn't be like double down and say, "Oh, I love him anyway." Or if footage came out of Elizabeth Warren, I don't know, doing some inside stock. The bottom line is, I was very aggressive against Democrats when they've done things that were wrong. Very aggressive, and I just don't understand why these people support people like Trump or Collins or Jacobs, who they have nothing in common with. And what do you guys think?
It's the old adage, the whole carrot, dangling the carrot in front of people, the old American dream, I can do this too kind of thing. What do they call them? The forgotten millionaires or something like that?
Yes. The people who all think they're going to be millionaires someday.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Cynthia Foote says he's calling me out. She says, "Your watch is awesome, Sam."
Thank you.
It is. I'm being silly. I'm sorry. Okay, listen. Yeah, no, I think that's part of it. Everyone thinks they want people to believe you're going to have a shot at the American dream, but the chances of success or growth in the American dream are lower than they ever were today. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm someone who went from, I would say, poverty to a solid middle-class lifestyle. That's harder and harder than it ever was. And then to take the next jump from middle class to wealth, or great wealth, is almost impossible in America today. But if you're born rich, the chances that you're going to stay rich are higher than they've ever been. So, it's just, I guess people believe their myths more than they believe reality.
Yeah. But, some of it was, I just want to destroy government. I just want to make it so that government is so dysfunctional that it doesn't impact my life whatsoever. And that's scary in itself because they don't understand the benefit of government. I mean, our foreign countries understand it. Sweden understands it. New Zealand understands it. But our country has a tendency to believe that a dysfunctional government probably is a positive versus a negative. And that's disturbing because those of us that work in government, we realize that we're looking out for the better good of everybody. And
I know when you and I were in government together, Jim, I mean, the biggest shocker for me is I came from the private sector. And I was brainwashed to believe the government was wasteful. And then when I got into government, I realized, holy cow, this is more efficient than any private sector job I ever had. Well, what government does on a shoestring budget is amazing. That's an untold story. We would, like, in my life, in my business life, I would see executives waste more on a weekend trip than an entire government office or like a small town office would do in a year for their entire budget. If I think about, listen, let me think about that. I can say this. There's a company I worked for recently. I'm not going to name it because I don't want to get in trouble, but you can all guess. Their budget for marketing for one event was bigger than the town of Grand Island's budget for an entire year. And the town of Grand Island runs, let me finish this. The town of Grand Island runs a police service, a sewer service, a garbage service, a highway service, and all the functions of town government, including town courts and engineers. So when people tell me that government's such a waste, I'm like, there are parts of government. They look at some highway crew where a guy's taking a rest and having a sandwich, and they're like, oh, they're all lazy bums. But if you look at government overall, it is incredibly efficient. Go ahead. If you guys have thoughts or disagree,
No, I
challenge
agree.
me.
I mean, if you think about it, it is more transparent than most people want to believe. I mean, I have a long-range planning committee. We got 18 people on it, and every one of those 18 people are volunteering. You got over 100 people in the town of Grand Island alone who are volunteering, which are providing the data and the knowledge to actually move decisions forward. I mean, you're running a water department, sewer department, highway department, recreation department. I mean, you have all those functions and if you didn't have government, how could you manage the big things, the highways, the super highways
can't.
across the country?
Or Jim, the broadband.
Yes, the broadband that we know is going to make the digital divide be non-extinct. But right now, we have part of our even the 27th that doesn't have the broadband to actually give that equality to everybody out there.
Jim, let's put a pin in that for a second because I want to talk about broadband. But Michael Slater just made a great point. It's racism too, Nate. Trump is appealing to the last remnants of racism that runs deep in our country.
Yes.
Listen, it's not the last remnants. I'm afraid he's made racism mainstream.
He did.
He's made it acceptable.
Listen, my family has heard. We heard stuff in 2018, but not like this. I mean, honestly, we can't. Like, I went with my wife to the grocery store a while back, and I was shocked. And it's out of control, and it's definitely we're better off than some people. I mean, people are being tracked down and shot in this country in the street, and there's videos, and people still don't care. And the ideas of white supremacy and white nationalism are being openly demonstrated in the White House. And when I read newspapers, even like the New York Times, they'll say racially tinged language. I'm like, it's not racially tinged, it's racist. Drop the tinged. And I think if we don't call it out, it normalizes it. Go ahead. If I want to hear your thoughts, I think his presidency is a presidency based on the advancement of white nationalist principles. But do I think he really is an extremist white nationalist? No, I think it's worse than that. I think he's so selfish and greedy that he's willing to even pander to that nonsense for popularity and power. So go ahead.
Well, what I find really disturbing from my point of view, and you and I being in government for the 4 years we just finished, is that what's disturbing is you figure out a policy that you move forward as a government. You turn around and say, here's my standards for the COVID and distancing and so on and so on. So you're sending the message out to all the governors. This is what we're going to do, da, da, da. Then he comes out and basically says, congratulations to the governor that opened up defying the federal government's guidelines. I mean, it's amazing that the guy can't even be part of the team that he actually is working with to move our community forward. To me, it just
he is the worst thing you can be in a crisis or in business for that matter. Business needs reliability and stability. He provides no reliability. He provides no stability. You can never depend on what he says. Samantha, to the point of racism, though, Samantha, do you want to address that or no?
I mean, so when I think about what he's done to kind of embolden this white nationalist, white supremacist, just ideology of everything, and then you think about that case down in Atlanta with Aubrey, who was shot, who was out when he was out jogging, and the two men who did it they just did not feel any remorse over it. They felt that it was their duty to protect their neighborhood from basically people who look like that, a black man who just happened to be jogging. I think that there are people who say if the president of my country can talk like this, then my actions are validated, right?
Right.
And that makes me scared.
Yeah. I think the other thing we should say is when I say he's not racist, I'm like, well, we can pick a million things. The fact that he encourages these paramilitary groups that have racist symbols, and he says they're good people. The fact that he, fought for a Muslim ban. The fact that he dehumanized Mexican Americans and migrants by calling them racist and infesting our country.
And rapists.
Rapists. We can go on and on and on with the things he's done. I mean, things that have violated the principles of the Constitution. If a Democrat had said we're going to have a religious test for immigration, there would be outrage by traditional conservatives. So all the things he's done, you can't ignore it. And by ignoring it, we're doing what happens in countries that lose their freedoms. It's a step-by-step erosion of who we are. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think we have to say he is a white nationalist, either by default or by greed and his pandering to those interests. But hold on. Hey, Kate Miller, how are you? Hey, Rachel, how are you too? We got 23 people watching live right now. Jane Maslow, as always, good to see you. Where am I running? I'm running in NY27. I'm running in Western New York, NY27, the area between Buffalo and Rochester. Get the word out. We need to have people vote in the special election. We can flip a seat this summer, not just for – this is what I say to people all the time. It's not about Democrat versus Republican. Our coalition is a coalition of Democrats, reasonable conservatives that aren't part of the Trump coalition, and progressives. It's everybody in that group. Everybody who thinks that what we're seeing over here in this extremism of Trumpism is not what we like, whatever we've ever seen before in our country. Okay, back to broadband. Jim.
Yes.
I want to talk about broadband. Right now, broadband is more important than ever. We got these Zoom calls. We got kids learning from home. You and I were way out in the forefront of broadband. Well, not the cutting edge, not the bleeding. Wait, not the bleeding edge, the cutting edge. I should say. When I first became a small town supervisor, we put up a whiteboard, and what did we put at the top of the whiteboard? Broadband. And everything we did to get broadband, including talking to Google, including calling the people in Knoxville, including what else? I mean, including getting a grant, talking to the school, having town halls. We were in a small town. Consistently, there was pushback, and the pushback was it's too expensive and we don't need it.
Well,
right?
And the issue was we could prove that it wasn't too expensive. We proved that we had a plan because we even did a need assessment, actually showing how the need assessment would impact in a positive way. How would it positively?
They made us do two needs assessments. Two needs assessments.
Two of them. I mean, county basically has launched their own need assessments, and they're evaluating in their need assessments, backing up Grand Island's need assessment. So you look at it, but if you look at Wyoming County and what is happening in that county, and how many people out there do not have a trusted broadband, that town and that county in itself is behind the curve as far as having the technology to be able to do the things they need to do.
So I'm proud to say that even though there's not a public broadband system on Grand Island, the tube is going into the ground now.
Yes.
We fought for that. The conduit is going into the ground. And as long as the current people in their leadership there decide to make sure it goes in, the town will have a public broadband system they can build off of in the future. So we did get something moving there, but it nearly killed us.
Yes.
I'm hoping that, so I have a record fighting for broadband already. I have a record fighting for term limits already. And when I go to Congress, I will just elevate the scale and say, we're going to do this again. It's not acceptable that our country doesn't have broadband. It is not acceptable. We do not have public broadband that's fast and available to everybody. I'm not going to accept it. Go ahead. If any comments. Jonathan Bondi says, Jim, that beard is awesome.
Are you going to keep it past COVID, Jim?
Is there a vote for
Michael Slater? My good Michael Slater, by the way, is such an interesting man. He just said, let's see 250 pledge to Nate against racism, and I'll match it. Look at Michael. Michael's on here throwing all kinds of things out. I love Michael. Thank you, Michael. Lisa, thanks for giving the explanation of what NY27 is. Let's go on with the news here. More news here. Next part of the news.
Well,
You ready? Go
part
ahead.
of the news that I want to talk about is our Secretary of State.
Yep, that's next.
I mean, the issue that I'm having here is that Trump gets on TV and turns around and says, "I have no problem if he's hired a aide to go out and do his shopping and do his setting up appointments for dinner for him and his wife. I'd rather have him doing that than and spend more time with the country, the presidents of different countries. But that's my tax dollars we're paying for. Don't we care about
No,
that?
it's the same thing. It's the same thing as a small town mayor say, "Hey, I just asked the highway crew to come over and do my gardening."
Yeah, I saw it.
Everybody here would be mad if they did that. And that happens, by the way, all across the country. But
Yeah.
here's the president doing it. But worse than that, the real problem is this watchdog was investigating an illegal arms deal. So we're back to the days of the Iran Contra, and selling missiles to Iran illegally. It's shocking. I mean, they have no. The ties of the Trump White House to Saudi Arabia, to Turkey, to Russia are clear and unavoidable. I mean, it's being shoved in our face.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the watchdog's being fired right now is very disturbing. I mean, the Secretary of State walks in and says, "I want to fire that guy," and the president turns around and goes, "Okay, fire him, fired." And you say, now he's got to tell Congress why he's firing, and he turns around and goes, "Because we didn't like him." He wouldn't do what we wanted him to do. That's not a watchdog doing what. Yeah.
No, there's no guardrails left, Jim. Okay, one more thing. We'll do some wrap-up comments, but I want to talk about. We talked about the UAW and the opening of the plants. We talked about what that means. We talked about Trump taking hydroxychloroquine. We talked about the upcoming election. We're going to finish with some election talk, but I want to talk about this fact that the stock market is booming. Your thoughts, if any, about the booming stock market?
I think the stock market is booming only because it's trying to get the feeling like something good is happening, and maybe this is going to be there's a recovery on the way, and they have to get back in the game too. So I think it's just it could be temporary, because if we don't do it right and we have a failure, it's going to be disastrous, because I think the market's going to crash big time, worse than it has now, if we don't do it right. But right now it's just a sense of hope.
Sam, are you laughing at my beverage choice, or what are you laughing at?
No, I'm not laughing at your beverage. I'm just thinking about how I could possibly go ahead and answer a question like that, because maybe it's a young person's mentality to have, but I've never paid attention to the stock market. It's not something designed to benefit people like me or people like those that I'm, actively working to protect in the community. So I know that there are, implications when a stock market falls or drops, but I never pay attention to it because it's not for me.
Right.
So let me explain my theory on this. And by the way, I loved your comment, Sam. That was an awesome comment. But this is what they did. They passed a $3 trillion stimulus. Most of that money went to the largest corporations. There's nowhere to put that money right now. They can't put it in traditional savings accounts because the interest rates are so low. Where are they going to put that money? They didn't put that into employee retention. All their employees are fired. I mean, we've lost how many millions of jobs? We're at nearly 20% unemployment. What they did in Europe is they did a stimulus, and they said this money must be used to keep employees. That's it. This is payroll substitution. What they did here is say, here's money to save your company, and with very loose requirements attached. So where did the money go? It went into stock. That's what it did. And so how it works is you have a company. What is stock? Stock is, there's only a certain amount of pieces of paper, right? You can't, unless the company issues more stock, there's only a certain amount of pieces of paper. So if you're buying stock and there's more liquidity, more cash to buy the stock market value will go up. The stocks will go up. So what they did is they artificially pumped up the stock market, because that's all Trump cares about. Creating, that's what the corporate power cares about, is increasing shareholder value. So who paid for it? The average worker. So here we are in a situation where we have 20% unemployment and the stock market's higher than it ever was. It's insanity, because what they've done is they cut employee workforces. A lot of it was redundant according to their statistics or their needs, and they've increased the value of their company through liquidity. So it's a situation now where you have, again, an artificially strong stock market, which benefits a small group of people. The economy continues to be weak. Most of us don't know what's going to happen in 2021. So I find the whole thing terribly, terribly troubling. And the fact that we go along with it without even batting an eye. And meanwhile, now that the stock market's good, what is Mitch McConnell and Trump saying? No more stimulus. We're done. If people vote for these guys, they're going to bankrupt Social Security. They're going to say, "Oh, COVID did it." They're going to bankrupt. They're going to bankrupt Medicare, and they're going to say, "Oh, COVID did it." They're going to bankrupt your small towns, and "Oh, it was COVID. It was Cuomo's fault." It's criminal what they're doing to our country. And if I sound flippant about it, and I'm not. I'm deadly serious about it. I'm very, very frustrated about where we are as a nation. Go ahead, if you have thoughts.
I share those thoughts.
Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Let me say this to you. So, listen, where are we on the campaign? What's going next? It's getting dark out, so I'm sorry I keep you so long. What's going next?
Me?
Well, what are we doing? What's the next goal?
I think the biggest goal right now is continuously to contact people and getting on the phones, and we're calling, and I think you got more and more people calling every day. I think voter contact is really the most important thing. But I'm really excited about the possible parades that we're going to be doing, where you do the drive-through of the district. Yeah. And see people. I think that's going to be really a lot of fun, and it's going to get us out of the house. That's what's really, really cool. In the sunshine, and that's awesome. I think that's really cool. I think working with the town chairs is really exciting, because I think more and more chairs are waking up to this race, and I'm hoping that they'll work with us closely to get more and more people active in what's going on. And I think you've done a fantastic job. We've done a fantastic job of actually connecting with body and still moving forward in a terrible environment. I mean, I've never seen anything like a campaign like this where you're doing it from your armchair. In the past,
literally
raised by armchair, the bottom line, everybody criticized you. This one, you better learn to do it by the armchair and do it well. And I think your team's doing a fantastic job.
Well, we've used technology well. I mean, listen, can I be honest with you? I think our team this year is light years better than our team last year. Light years.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. I mean, we're so much more professional. The way we do phone calls, the way we do outreach. Yeah, we have I have like a legit congressional team now, thanks to Samantha and to all the people that are. It's great. I mean, I love you guys, and we've made we're always considered an underdog race. And for us to put together this type of professionalism in the midst of COVID, we outraised everybody we can't compare ourselves to other races. We outraised everybody in the midst of COVID, and we did it the right way. It's been a struggle. I mean, we don't take corporate money. I got to say that. If you look at other people, they have pages and pages and pages of corporate donations. I've never taken corporate donations. I don't even call. I won't call them. And when they've come my way, I said, no, we're not interested. Think about this for a second. If Pepsi Cola, for example, Pepsi, I'm not blaming you. Pepsi, I like Pepsi. Jim loves Pepsi. Ask him.
Yeah,
he's like, if Jim stops drinking Pepsi, the stock's going to drop dramatically.
Oh, yeah. Well, its marketplace will drop as well. I mean, there's only two stock I have, and that's Apple and Pepsi. Hey.
His two favorite things.
Wait, you love Apple and you let him come after me about the watch?
I didn't want to bring more attention to it.
Betrayal.
So Jim, I was saying about Pepsi. If Pepsi called me up and said, we want to give you $10,000 for your raise, do you think they're doing that because they like me?
No,
they're doing that so I can take their call. They're doing that so I can take their call if they want me.
Yes.
If they have a problem.
That's true.
And they know I'll jump and pick up the phone. That's it.
Yep.
It's crazy that we allowed that to happen in our country. I think it's nuts. I really do. Having gone through this and realizing how desperate people are to raise money and how these corporations are desperate to throw money at you so that you will listen to them and follow their lead, it's got to change. We have to change it. I mean, campaign finance reform may be one of the most vital issues facing the American public. If people realize how corrupt it is, it's crazy. But we still compete with small dollar donations, which is crazy.
Well,
So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I'm proud of that too. I mean, but the other part of it is, isn't your campaign really about connecting with people? And connecting with people means that that you are motivated by the fact that more people you touch, the more people are going to participate in your campaign. The other side is looking at it saying, just find my millionaire buddies and we'll just throw a couple of million at me on this and that. They got one or two people that they're owing to. They're not owing to the people that they should be owing to.
Hold on. Melba Carr, I see you're on there watching. Hey, Melba. Rumella. Do you guys know Rumella? I love Rumella. Do you guys know her? Rumella is, she gets mad when I say it, but she's a professional wrestler.
Nice.
She ran for office in Greece. And I got a picture. She's got me in a headlock, and I planned on wrestling her for some publicity during the campaign this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, certain people in my campaign really, really didn't want me to do it, but I was going to do it anyway. And
sounds like.
And sadly, we couldn't do it. But it was good to see Rumella. She's so much fun. Gabriel, good to see you. Jane, good to see you. Jane, is Mountain Dew a Pepsi product? Maybe product placement. No, it might be. It might be, Jane. And you're right. I should probably drink water.
I don't know.
Jane, I'm going to say to you real quick. I gave up Mountain Dew 3 times this year. I don't drink. I don't smoke. But I do have a bad addiction to this stuff. And I give it up every time. But then when call time starts, it helps me get through call time. So it's not a great habit. I'm not going to lie. My teeth are probably going to fall out, but you know, I can't do it. Hey, Sanborn's on the line. Hey, Peter, how are you? Good to see you on here. Oh boy. Hey, Mary, how are you? Man, we had a lot of people on tonight, on and off. Listen, thank you to everybody who donated. I'm sorry, you know, we can't be out there with you. This is super helpful. We're going to do it more often to the campaign because it helps. It really does help us. And I love seeing Samantha. Sorry I teased you. I love seeing Jim. I'm sorry I teased you. Any final comments for the crowd out there?
Well, for me, I'm not going to lie. I had this thought just now, the way that you talk about all these people that you've met in the district, all around 27, the different personalities. You know, I got a very small glimmer of that the first 3 weeks that I was on your campaign. And you just make like these beautiful relationships all over the place, and people really look up to you and just get, you know, really enthusiastic about you and your presence and what you stand for. And I'm really sad that I didn't get a chance to experience more of that, maybe at a parade or something. You know, I saw you connect with people out. I think we were in East Aurora, the one house party day that I actually got to hang out with you on the trail and whatnot. And there's just, you know, there's electricity in the room when you're speaking, and these people just really believe in you. The point of that is just that I wish I could have seen more of that, but I'm still happy to be here and help in whatever.
Samantha, first of all, we're just getting started. We have we're going into November. And number 2, I'm very grateful someone as talented and wonderful as you says something like that. It really does. It's humbling, and I'm not comfortable with it totally, but I'm grateful to you for saying it. But I think I do care about people. I like people. I wish you were here in the old days, though, in 2018, because it wasn't so electric. People would scream at me and they'd say your jeans are too tight. Like,
that's weird.
Go home, corporate lawyer. I used to get that from Democrats all the time. Go home. We don't want you, corporate lawyer. But like, I'll tell you, I think people have seen that I have committed myself to this, and that I'm not just a guy I'm not just trying to be a congressman. I'm trying to be a public servant. And I want to say it over and over again. I'm not perfect, but I want to be a public servant. And I guess who I learned how to be a public servant from? Jim G.I. Sharp. Probably the most kind, like Jim, man, you really taught me, because like you sacrifice yourself and you I mean, people are miserable to you sometimes, and you've just all you ever wanted to do is serve Grand Island. Like it's like your passion. Someone should write a documentary about Jim G.I. Sharp's love for Grand Island.
That book will put you to sleep.
Jim, before I go, what's the most beautiful spot on Grand Island to you?
I would say right now the West River Parkway or bike path is probably the most beautiful because of the fact it's so the vista is awesome, the environment is awesome, the ability to go 8 miles down a path is just beyond belief. Being able to give the river back to the people, I think, is probably the most wonderful thing.
Me too. I love it.
Saturday, I took a bike ride for 11 miles.
Holy cow, Jim!
Oh yeah. So Saturday I did 11-mile bike ride, and then that's getting out. I'm getting out. Yesterday I went and walked a golf course and walked 10,000 steps because there's no carts out there. You got to walk it. So for the last Saturday and Sunday, I think I pretty much got my year's worth of exercise.
West River Parkway. If all the small moments that took to get that done.
Oh,
I probably aged 10 years on that stupid thing.
Well,
and now, you know what I always say? You know what drives me crazy now is when I meet people and they tell me, "Oh, I was always for it." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I took Paul Lechner and I went to Paul's house yesterday and said, "We're riding." So he got on his bike and him and I did the West River Parkway. And the bottom line is, as we're riding together, he goes, "Do you realize that if we didn't put up the fight, this wouldn't be here today?" And I go, "Yep."
So true.
Lock in and say this will be reality. You wouldn't be here today. And I mean, think about it. I mean, it could not be at a better time than what's going on in our country right now.
So, Samantha, I know we talk about it with like legendary status, the West River Parkway, but it was clearly a proxy battle for some bigger issues. I mean, we had hundreds of people would come to these events to protest, or to say they were with it. And we did it was crazy what people said. They said hundreds of thousands of people are going to die from car accidents. They said that. They said it was my goal to put casinos along the waterfront.
Yep.
They said, it was if I can go back, I mean, it was tough. I flew over in a helicopter to show people no one's using the old road, and I videotaped the whole thing. It was crazy. It seems like ancient history now when I go there, Jim, because everyone seems to love it. But man,
I was there Saturday. It's honeymoon's heaven there. I mean, anybody that's dating is out sitting on the benches. Families are there with all their kids on their little bikes and big bikes. The parking lots that overlooks are all packed full of cars, and on the backs of the cars, you got all these bike racks on the cars. I mean, you look at it and you say, wow, and I think that it is what it should have been all along. They were going to close that road. Unfortunately, they were going to close it, but unfortunately,
you know what was going to happen to that place is it would have been horrible. It would have been a horrible state, and it would have been a disaster. And we tried to explain it to people; they weren't willing to listen. Yeah. But some of them were, and the good people that are listening right now, thank you for helping us fight for that. It's something. Even if my political career ends tomorrow, I will always be proud of that and a few other things we fought for, Jim. And I'm sorry to get into Grand Island history here, but you and I we did a good job, and we fought for things we cared about. I'm grateful for it.
I mean, the sidewalks going down Grand Island Boulevard right now, and
I know.
Been planned out for Grand Island. I mean,
look at Samantha; she's mocking us with her.
We got an elevator. No,
we're reminiscing.
Did good. We went in knowing that we had 4 years to live and do what we had to do, and we did it. We made every minute count. And I'm going to
be the same way when I go to Congress. I'm the same way. I'm going to have the same attitude. Devil, let's get it done. I don't care who you are. Who are you, Samantha? Throw some names at me.
Whose names?
Some famous politicians' names. Throw it at me. Come on.
All of a sudden, I have no idea who's in Congress.
Anyway, Senate, Congress. Come on, throw a name at me.
Deb Haaland.
You listen to me, Deb. Looking out.
She's an older Native American woman. Have some respect.
I thought you were going to give me somebody mean. Okay, we're going to finish now. Okay, Jane, thank you for everybody. I miss you guys. Polly, miss you guys. Miss you. I miss you all. Jane, you're right. I should drink it out of a mug. You're absolutely right. Drink it out of a mug, and she'll throw another $10. Okay, you got it. Here.
Oh, go get a mug.
You're too much with the Pepsi, Jim. That's why you need to do all those extra bike rides.
I'll do it.
You know, I really like the thought of Jim and Paul Lechner, his friend, like 12-year-old boys going on, like him going over his house and say, "We're going on a bike ride." I like that.
Well, Cindy turned around. Cindy went out with us and turned around. She made 9 miles. We kept going for another couple until we realized she was not behind us. And we said, "I think we better go back and find out what happened to Cindy." Cindy is a little younger than we are. She kept saying, "I can't keep up with the old man."
Sam, sorry. Last things. I know Sam wants to get back to whatever she's doing, but I went on a kayaking trip with Paul once. I don't know how old is Paul roughly. He's got to be in his 60s, right?
70s.
70s.
Yeah.
I could not keep up, and I'm a relatively robust person. I could not keep up with his kayaking. He kayaked all the way from Grand Island all the way to Strawberry Island. We parked in Strawberry Island. We swam for 2 hours on Strawberry Island in the river. Me, Moses, and Paul. Then we kayaked back through the marsh. And by the time I got home, I was beet red from the sun. And I was so tired I couldn't pull the kayak out of the water. He looked like he'd go for another trip.
Oh yeah.
He's amazing.
Yes, when we were on biking, right out of the garage, he was at least a half mile in front of me before I got even out of the driveway. I kept saying, "You better slow down."
Yeah, he's amazing. Well, I miss you guys. Samantha, you're going to be around for when we do some events soon, though.
Oh, yeah.
Some social distancing events.
Yep.
We're going to do it.
Jim, call me if you need anything, okay?
Got it.
See you guys. I'll take care.